Hi, today we're going to be talking about 2-point perspective in art class today. So actually yesterday is 1-point perspective and today is 2-point perspective. You would expect this to be a little bit more difficult. I actually like it better, and I have a lot of students say that this 2-point perspective is actually easier in their opinion. So what we're going to do today is I got a lot of eraser here. We'll get that out of the way. All right, so first of all, as you might guess, if yesterday was 1-point perspective and you had one vanishing point, today is 2-point, you're going to have 2 vanishing points. All right, so to begin with, on your paper, one of the most important things that you're going to do on your paper is you're going to be drawing right down the center a dividing line. So that dividing line is going to be where almost everything on this half of the paper is going to go back to a vanishing point on this side. Almost everything happens to go back on the other side. So let's give that a try and see what it looks like. So to begin with, grab your piece of paper, your pencil. You can keep up with me today. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a line that does not touch the top and does not touch the bottom. So I'm going to draw this line here to here. And notice I left a gap here. I left a gap up here at the top. And what you should see is a line in the middle of your paper. Not doing too much just quite yet. All right, so let's get a little bit more going. Next one, you're going to draw, let me move you up so you can see the paper here. When you draw this, your 2 vanishing points that you're going to draw one on this side and one on this side. It does need to be higher than that gap that you made right here, so I'm going to do it maybe about twice. So from here, actually it's quite a bit higher. So this is probably close to 2.5 inches. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2.5 inches here. I'm going to do the same over here just to keep it kind of nice and easy. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is I'm going to connect the bottom of that line to my vanishing points. All right. Pretty simple so far. What you can start to see is it should start to pop out and look a little bit like a corner. All right, camera. Touch my camera and move it. There we go. All right, so our next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take, now like I said before, almost everything on this half of the paper goes back to this vanishing point. There is every once in a while where you break the rule, but most of the time it's a no. So let's go ahead, most of the time. But I'll show you when that changes. All right, so let's get started at the very, very top of the building. I'm going to draw a line not all the way, so I'm not going to draw a whole line here. Notice that my ruler is touching that vanishing point, touching the top of the paper. I'm going to go back maybe an inch, inch and a half here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw heading back to this vanishing point once again, maybe an inch, inch and a half here. Perfect. Now I've got an arrow. Now let's make it a building. So now what I'm going to do is this line and this line need to be parallel. This line and this line need to be parallel. All right, and hopefully you're going to start to see your 3-dimensional building, your very first one. All right, something else that I like to add in right away, and I did the same thing yesterday with our 1-point perspective, is I like to draw a sidewalk real quick. My sidewalk makes it more like a city. Okay. I couldn't see what was going on. My ruler was on the wrong side. Okay, there we go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw a tiny little sliver of a sidewalk curb. Same thing over here with a curve. Just a little. I don't want people to have to jump off of it. Just a curve. All right. I like that. That's come along nicely. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do some roadway lines right here in the center when they're further away from us. You guessed it, they should be smaller. As they get larger, they get bigger and bigger. Okay, nice. I'll go ahead and do that on this side. And then we're going to get back to our buildings. I just kind of like to fill in some of the easy stuff so I can really start to see that 3D that starts to pop there. nice. I like it so far. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start drawing some city buildings, the rest of our city buildings. Let's go ahead and draw. Let's draw some shorter ones. Shorter building on this side. Notice that my ruler is lining up to touch the vanishing point. That vanishing point on this half of the page is in charge. You've got to make sure you pay attention to it. All right, so this is going to go parallel and straight down. Looking good. Let's go ahead and do another one. Now these buildings are going to be most of the time getting shorter. Sometimes they can get a little thinner, a little wider. Okay, and I said most of the time they get shorter and shorter, but every once in a while you get a tall building thrown in there. So let's go ahead and we're going to take and draw this building up. I'm going to take this back to the vanishing point. I'm going to take this down. I'm going to change it so I can see. I need a clear ruler. Clear rulers always break. All right. Now what you should be able to tell is this one's a little taller, but it looks kind of like it's 2D and kind of like a billboard almost. So let's go ahead and change that. So what I'm going to do is, remember when I told you most of the time stuff on this side goes back to this vanishing point? This is one of that times where it breaks the rule. So what I'm going to do is, if this one doesn't work for you, try the other vanishing point. The other vanishing point gets to be in charge of the other one. All right, so we're going to take that. See that just that little itty bitty top right here, all the way down. Once it runs into another building, don't run over it. That's not nice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and that's my build. I'm going to pause this for a few moments and I'll let you see what it looks like a little bit later. All right, so we're back. I have added some more details. I wanted to kind of show you and talk about my different details here. And on my two sides of the paper, I have the good side of town, and then I have the bad side of town. So we're going to talk about the two different sides and what's working, and then why you don't want to go on the bad side of the town. All right, so first of all, let's go ahead and talk about some of the windows and things here. So I have windows, and when you start drawing the windows back, well, I'll start with something easier. I started off with the door, so I'm going to take the top of the door back to the vanishing point, and then those, I'll take it so you can see it here. And then these go straight down parallel with the edge of the paper. Next, what I have is, think of this vanishing point. It's in control of everything. You can also think of it kind of like I put my pencil, sometimes I put my pencil right there. My pencil doesn't move, but my ruler can move up and down, and kind of like a hand on a clock where it's attached to the middle and it just kind of moves up and down. So if you'll see that the lines on my windows move and all of them are in perspective back to my vanishing point. Notice each and every single one of them. On this one, I started drawing, these are supposed to be balconies, and then that was a lot of balconies to draw, so I stopped so I could get back to our video. And the other thing I drew was I drew it and then something looked wrong and I couldn't figure it out. I forgot to put these like little railings here, so it's very dangerous balconies. So that's on the wrong side of town. We don't want that. All right, so the other thing that I have here is, well, you guys see my vanishing point. So for my sidewalk lines, these sidewalk lines go back to this vanishing point. Remember when I showed you that over here, where that one thing didn't quite have a vanishing point, you didn't know where to take it, didn't quite make sense? Try the other one. So line it up to your vanishing point, and then just move, see my sidewalk lines, how they move along there. And I will tell you, it's one of those, like, it just doesn't seem right to do it that way, but it works out. It really does. It looks more three-dimensional. Now let's go over to the wrong side of town. The wrong side of town is this over here. There are some things that are seriously done wrong. So let's go ahead and talk about what's wrong on these. To begin with, this looks all good at the top. This is just fine. Goes back to the vanishing point. And then what I see sometimes happen is people will just go ahead and start drawing these parallel as they go down, down, down. And then as they get further and further down here, they no longer look like windows. They look kind of like stripes on a building. So you can tell that that is not, this is wrong. Don't do that. Here's another one. So with the sidewalk I will say is probably one of the more confusing things on this drawing. With the sidewalk, taking it back to the opposite vanishing points, all the way over there, I get it. But do it. It really makes a difference and it looks correct. So if I were going to draw a little guy, we got a person walking down the sidewalk, walking, having a good time. I'm gonna go catch a bus. I don't know what he's gonna do. He's having a good time. There we go. Oh, that looks like he's dancing. All right. So over on this side, if I draw the same guy, he doesn't look like he's dancing as much. He instead kind of has the appearance as if he's going to slide. I wouldn't want to have to walk on that. That looks like it's at a horrible, horrible slant. So just be careful of making sure that you are taking these to the vanishing point. So you can kind of put someone on the sidewalk here and see what that looks like for you. The other one is the door. The door I didn't take back to the vanishing point. One of the problems with the door is whenever you look at this, this is not to the vanishing point. The top of it is not. You can see how far off it is right there. One of the things that happens is if it sort of looks like if this guy, looks like that door's too short for him anyway, but if this guy was going to come in here, it would look like this side of the door he would hit his head on. So just be aware, just be thoughtful of using your vanishing point at all time, and have some fun figuring out all kinds of things that you can do in perspective. All right, have a great day.